I was having lunch with a friend the other day, and he asked me a really great series of questions. He was talking about what it is that holds us back from getting what we want. And he said, first, what do you want? Ask yourself that question. Answer that question. What do you really want? And secondly, what will you have to give up to get it? What are you afraid to lose in order to get that thing? And this is really, really relevant because if we are afraid that we're going to have to lose something we don't want to lose in order to get something that we want, there's a really good reason to sabotage it. Often, we won't go for what we want if we believe that we're going to have to lose something that would be very, very painful. Because we're often afraid to acknowledge those fears in the first place, we don't even realize it's happening. You could be sabotaging yourself right now and not realizing it because you're not thinking about, you're not aware of these questions. You're not aware of this fear or this belief. And he mentioned that question, and it really hit me because this is where I am right now. I recognize that the reason I don't have what I want, the life that I'm wanting to create for myself, in large part, maybe the largest part, is because I'm afraid of something that might happen if I get it. And I'll give you an example because this 100 Conversations experiment is a part of something much larger that I'm wanting to do, that I'm wanting to dive into this world of transformation and helping people transform their lives and transform the lives of others through business. And it's also, it's a spiritual practice for me. This whole thing, it's an extension of a spiritual practice. It's inspiring and exciting and mysterious and challenging and all of these things. It's just this vast ocean of possibility that I want to dive into and spend all my time on. And I'm not. Right now, it's getting the scraps of my time, this thing that is so important to me, and I'm only giving it scraps. So I ask myself those questions. I know what it is that I want. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but I know what I want. What do I think I'm going to have to give up to get it? And there are two things that come to mind, and they're really related for me. And one is that I believe on some level, not on a logical level, on an underneath level, I believe that in order to get what I want, I'm going to have to give up the people I love. That they're not going to come with me. They're not going to want me anymore. And in a certain sense, the agreements I have, the old agreements I have with people in my life, where it involved me staying small, that's true, right? Something's going to have to change. But I think even the bigger thing that I'm afraid to lose is this idea of myself, this way of living. I can't be that person to do the things that I want to do. The person who does the things that I want to do, who invests themselves as wholeheartedly in what they love, who creates a life around it, it's not the person I am today. So who would I be, right? As long as I am afraid that I'll be giving up a part of myself that is vital to me, or I will be losing my loved ones who are vital to me in order to get what I want, it makes perfect sense that I won't allow myself to get it, right? I've been working on this with people in conversation when there's a fear that comes up. Just the other day, a fear that if I grow my business and I have team members who represent my business, I have this fear that they're going to mess up. I'm going to get a bad review. Someone's going to post bad reviews all over the internet about my business, and then I'm going to lose everything, which is a lot of fears that kind of spiral on top of each other. I said, okay, so would you be okay with examining this fear? And so I talked to him about the fear, and I said, all right, let's give it a name. There's an exercise that Tim Ferriss calls fear setting, and it's actually planning for that fear. You know, that worst case scenario, lay it out. What would you do? What would happen? So you get a bad review. You have an employee who's working for you, and he screws up badly, and your client is mad, and they leave bad reviews all over the place. What's the worst that could happen? How would you recover? Create a plan for it. Create a plan to avoid it. Lay it all out on the table. Look that fear in the eye. Let it make you stronger. Name it. See it. Be aware of it. Because if I'm not aware of my fears, which I am becoming clearer about, if I don't know what my fears are, they will secretly sabotage me and keep me from even trying to get what I really want. And I see it happening all the time. The reason you don't have what you want is because part of you doesn't really want it. And I really believe that. If that's not true, it's on the way. And you know it's on the way because you can feel it. So think about that for yourself. What is it you're afraid that you'll have to lose? And maybe you just think you're going to have to lose it. Or maybe you actually do have to lose it. Maybe you do have to let something go to get what you want. There is a price in many cases for what we want. Every time we say yes to something, we're saying no to something else. So what is it that you're afraid to lose? Are you going to let that keep you from going after what you want? Or are you going to choose it anyway? Are you going to face it and move through it so that you can create the life that you want?